Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for that Rivals review for the Manchester City versus Manchester United Cup final. The FA Cup final, it ended 2-1 to Manchester City. And you know what? That game did not go the way I planned in my head. I'm not going to lie, when I saw that goal going from Gundo and that incredible volley, that incredible strike, individual quality, individual brilliance, when that happened inside, 30 seconds, 1 minute, I thought to myself, yeah, this is going to be a long day. This is going to be a long day. Buckle up, yeah, put your seatbelt on and just enjoy the ride, because you're about to get fast and furious. You're about to get driven. You're about to get dragged. And do you know what? Fair play to Man United. They actually made this competitive. This was not a landslide. This was not one of the most glitz and glamour, great football kind of cup finals that we've seen. No, it was a bit contentious. There were some big moments in terms of key decisions from the referee that we're going to go through, etc. It was semi-competitive, do you know what I mean? Much more competitive than we expected. In fact, Man United ended up having more shots, same corners. Obviously, Man City dominate the ball, but it wasn't a Rolls Royce performance from Man City from start to finish. It wasn't like that. It was a little bit scrappy at times, but they did create some clear-cut opportunities. Obviously, with some shots from De Bruyne, some headers from Rodri. But Gundogan today, I have to start with Gundogan, because this game was separated in the end by individual brilliance. There wasn't many times where you could sit there and say that Man City absolutely cut through Manchester United's defence and walked it in and created these massive, clear-cut, big chances. It wasn't like that. It was Man City in possession. Maybe after the first goal, after getting off to such an incredible start, almost being a little bit more passive and a little bit more, calm and composed than we expected, instead of just going ruthless and just going into violence mode and just saying, well, you know what, we're just going to just rip you to shreds. They kind of just retreated a little bit and became a little bit more possession and a little bit more, like I said, cautious. But it was individual brilliance that separated it, because whether you're looking at Gundogan's first goal or the second, I know for the second people are going at De Gea, but the first goal, the volley, I mean, the ball's dropping out of the sky. The guy just whacks it on his right into that far corner. De Gea is rooted to his spot. De Gea is in quicksand. De Gea is playing musical statues right now. This guy, he's still not moving. He's still not moving from when the national anthem music was playing. This guy is stationary. He's still stagnated. He's not going anywhere. Don't go anywhere. He's not going anywhere. That's how incredible the strike is. And it's not the first time that Gundogan's done something like this in a game where you're looking at him, you're thinking, raw. Against Leeds, against Everton. Remember that game against Everton away? We were covering it, right? Everton away, Man City, 0-0 for the majority of that first half. They're in control and whatnot, but they're not really breaking Everton down, and they're not looking like they're going to find a way through as of yet. And then Gundogan out of nowhere just turns up with an incredible game. An incredible game, whether it's the assist, whether it's the goals, 2 goals, just unbelievable. And this guy, he just needs his flowers, because he's just outrageously good. He's not going to go down as one of the Premier League greats, and I think rightly so, because his role in the Man City team over time, over the course of a full season over the years, has not been what it was for a Lampard or a Gerrard in the Liverpool team, or a Scholes for the United team, or even a Yaya Toure in his peak, or De Bruyne. He's not had to be consistently the key man throughout the team, and that's just because they've got so many great players. I think a lot of the players in the end will be kind of, the demise of why they're not going to be maybe looked upon in the same manner is not because of quality, not because of ability, but just because of importance. But just in terms of the ability, the guy is ridiculous. Whether he's playing in the 6, he could play in the 8, he could play in the 10, and he's even played as a false 9 or as a shadow striker, and he's contributing. When needed, when called upon, the man can finish. He can put the ball in the back of the net. He's always making these little off-the-cuff left-hand side half-space runs for those reverse passes from Grealish. One that was fantastic in that latter stage of the second half. That pullback almost led to a third. So a couple of times Man City could have got that third goal today. But Gundogan, I just got to give him his flowers, because he's the one that's got the 2 goals. He is the captain, and they need to get that new contract for him, because these type of players they're few and far between in world football. Same with Bernardo Silva, able to play as a wide player, as a 10. He's even played as an 8. At one point, I think they had him at left back in this team this season. These versatile, techie, intelligent, high IQ individuals are few and far between. I was just having these debates about my team earlier today about Kai Havertz and the lack of goals playing up front, even though, yes, some people will say he's a 10 or he should be playing deeper. Gundogan has 8 goals and now I think 9, right? The same as our leading goal scorer, Kai Havertz, this season. And he's not even a striker, right? He's not a striker, but he's a midfielder and he's getting himself into the box. He's getting himself to areas and he's contributing. So unbelievable. And yeah, just what a performance from him. The second goal, again, Man United today, they gave a lot of set pieces away, a lot of free kicks, right? There's a lot of little nitty gritty fouls being made from Fred, who probably should have been booked a lot earlier than he was. And they were just trying to cut out and stop the attacks because they didn't want Man City to get to Haaland. That was the end game. That was the end goal. Get to Haaland and he'll finish it. And really Haaland, let's be honest, Haaland wasn't really involved too much today in terms of taking shots. The most I saw of Haaland today, apart from that one opportunity in the first half where he ran in behind, obviously, turned the defender, spinned him, pinned him back like a Lukaku, Jamie Carragher situation on Sky Sports, and then lashed it over the bar. Most of Haaland in the first half was all about dropping deep, trying to be that outlet where Man City will play through the press and then they'll put it through the middle to him. He'll hold it up and try and link it off De Bruyne, Gundogan from there. And we did see that. But we didn't really see a lot of Haaland in terms of opportunities, strikes on goal. But even still, that didn't stop Man United from having to make these tackles, from having to make these fouls. And there was a lot of set pieces. And Lord and behold, a corner comes in and it's De Bruyne looping ball. And I'm looking at this ball dropping to Gundogan. I'm thinking, there's no way this guy is going to do what I think he's going to do. It's on his left foot. It's pretty far out. There's a crowd of bodies in front of him. And surely he's just not going to put this ball in the back of the net. And he does. Drops out of the sky. And this man just lashes it into the bottom corner. Some people will say De Gea should have got there. But take nothing from the strike. The time and the execution to not lash it over the bar. Just brilliant technical ability on show again. Now, like I said, there was contentious moments. I want you guys to let me know in the comments down below. 2 penalties. Opportunity penalty situations that could have happened. We saw in Grealish's post-match, he's not happy at all that the penalty was given. I personally think it's harsh. I know it strikes his hand. For that Bruno Fernandes penalty that was given. But for me personally, he's so close to the ball and he is jumping. Naturally, your hands are going to be high. You're not going to jump with your hands alongside. You're not going to be a robot, right? Only Haaland might jump like that. Your hands are not going to be down the sides of your body as you're jumping. And the proximity, how close he is to Wan-Bissaka when he's jumping, he's not going to be able to move his hand out of the way. He's not obstructing the goal. He's not blocking it. His hands in natural position. It's not on purpose. So for me, I just felt like it was a little bit, I thought it was harsh to give away a penalty there, but listen, it was given. Let me know what you think on that one, and also let me know what you think on the De Bruyne situation from Fred. They didn't even replay it at half time, but Fred obviously cuts across De Bruyne, gets in front of him. I would say probably does foul him, but then he does get the ball afterwards, and it kind of hits him, and then it's away. We've seen softer penalties. We have seen softer penalties. I think if in the modern era, you could say, okay, these are probably penalties because we've gone a little bit soft in terms of the way we're giving penalties at the moment. There's no consistency this season. I've seen worse. I've seen people dive into the floor for handballs not given. I've seen plenty of madness. So it's tough, but I think it is contentious, that one. It is contentious, but at the same time, is it enough? Is it enough to be a penalty? I would more probably go towards the way of saying that it's not. I'd say it's a little bit soft if it was given. So, but you would look at it and maybe say it is a foul in other areas of the pitch. So it's a tough one. But I think the first one's really harsh. So those were the contentious decisions, obviously, to be made. Man United tactically, people maybe talk about Eriksen. Should he have played a game like this? I was looking at the game more and more, and I'm looking at Eriksen. I'm looking at how much Man City have got the ball, and I'm looking at the areas they're trying to get into, which is obviously the pockets. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe a McTominay in there alongside Casemiro and Fred. Maybe McTominay and Fred could just man mark, as they did with Fred, really. Man mark De Bruyne, man mark Gundogan, and leave Casemiro free to kind of patrol those central areas and just be a free man to just, try and cut out any chances, especially when Haaland dropped deep as well. Because what did Sancho really do today? That's the topic of conversation. I know that, me and Saeed had a big row on Big Six about Sancho versus Mason Mount in terms of impact. Listen, Sancho, since he's come to this league, has done no more than what Mount has probably done in his worst season, which is this season. And that is as simple as it gets. What did he really do today? Nothing, I didn't see too much of Rashford, although he did have a couple of shots in the end. Garnacho comes on and again impacts the game, changes the game a bit, has a shot just wide of the post, brings intensity, brings energy, brings chance creation, brings a threat where Man City have to wake up a little bit and think how they're going to deal with this situation that this kid is posing them. He's only 18 years old and he's showing up Sancho again for me on one of the biggest stages. And he didn't get long, but you noticed him when Garnacho was on the pitch. I woke up. I sat up in my seat. I said, okay, right, somebody's here, somebody's arrived. So it's a tough one, but yeah, I think to wrap it up. It's not, Man United fans won't care because they've lost the cup final to their rivals at the end of the day, the first Manchester City Man United derby, Manchester derby final. But they didn't disgrace themselves today. It was a competitive game, and considering a lot of people, including myself, thought City would go and batter you after the first 60 seconds, you can at least come out of this game with your head somewhat high. I know you're not going to feel that way at the time. And Man City, for me, they'll do the treble. We're just waiting. Next Saturday, Inter Milan. I can't see how this team don't do the treble. They weren't at their best today. They weren't at their devastating, most decisive, most impressive Man City performance. But they found a way through in the end. They always do under this manager, and they have the individual brilliance. And they could have got a third, but they have the individual brilliance as well to bail them out in times of a tough situation. Same at Everton. Like I said, it wasn't the most pretty, but then individual brilliance and Gundo stands up again and then bang. So they can get you on the transition, on the break. They can get you on possession and try and pick the lock, or individual brilliance will show up in big moments. It's difficult to say how you stop this team. Let me know what you think about the two contentious big penalty kind of moments in the game as well in the comments. Big up your damn selves. I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace.